morning. First of all, I wish to know your doubts or your queries about optional. Anything, one or two? What made you to come here? Speak out.
Those who have already joined the new ones are you asking?
New ones. Why you have come? Those who already taken political science, that's okay. The new ones, what doubt you have, if you can express, I'll speak out. What doubt you have in political science, or for that matter? Or do you want me to speak like a monologue? Okay, I'll speak.
I'm already in political science. From the last 1 year, I'm studying political
Right?
science. So now I'm trying to enhance my writing skills.
Done. Right. How to enhance writing skills in political science? Next doubt?
I want to know more about political science. How it relates to the GS paper.
Okay.
And I want to know how the difference between answer writing in GS and optional.
The difference between answer writing in GS and political science. Very good question. Any other doubt you have? What is the best time to choose an optional? Okay. Enough.
As a beginner, I have no idea about optional.
Right. Okay.
I know optional, but what?
Right. Let me speak. Okay? Enough. In civil services main exam and also in the personality test, the choice of our optional plays a very crucial role. In our mains exam and personality test, the choice of our optional subject plays a crucial role. In fact, in mains, the optional score is the complete 2 optional papers put together, the 250 plus 250, 500 marks. And whatever the best you can do in the optional, if you do that, you are going to be in the list, and also the score in your optional will decide your service, cadre and other things, as optional scores matter. The other important thing is, if you go to the interview, the board will also see your optional in your detailed application form DAF. Some questions might come from your optional subject. Generally, they'll come. So, in mains, out of complete score of 1750, 500 marks goes to the optional. One essay paper, 250 marks. 4 GS papers, 1000 marks. 4 into 250,000. So, 1250 plus 500 marks, 2 papers of optional. 1750 is the complete mains highest score, mains total score. So, out of which, whoever gets the top scores, they will be called for the interview in 1:2.5 ratio according to your category. So, if you calculate like this, option plays a key role. Coming to how to choose an option, there is a very bad rhetoric or bad phenomena in the civil services circles. A particular optional is scoring, or first ranker got a particular score in a particular optional, or this option have huge syllabus, this option has very less syllabus, limited syllabus. So your seniors, previous achievers tries to speak from their own perspective. This is completely incorrect. In fact, no one, including the UPSC chairman, can tell you which option is better next year for next year aspirants. So if somebody claims that next year particular option is going to provide you this much of score or 300 plus or 320 plus, that is a false statement. Okay, including political science. Remember. Then why I have taken political science? I have taken political science in my civil services examination because I have very limited time to prepare when I wrote in my first attempt, and I have taken political science because the main and important reason, both the papers in political science, if you see paper 1 and paper 2, both the part B's of paper 1 and paper 2, paper 1 part B or section B, paper 2 part B or section B, both the sections I can integrate with GS and complete my GS preparation. This is one important reason why I have taken political science optional. Because I have very less time to prepare for mains, I want to integrate my optional syllabus and main syllabus of GS. So, if you have syllabus booklet in your hands, if you see political science syllabus, if you compare GS syllabus and PSR syllabus in section B, in both the papers, most of the syllabus you can use it in your GS. So I have integrated, for example, look at me. In paper 1 section B, we have Indian Government and Politics, IGP. In paper 1 section B, we have Indian Government and Politics, IGP. In IGP, we have 11 chapters. The first chapter I have completely integrated with modern India. Okay, from constitutionalism to mass satyagraha, non-cooperation, civil disobedience, quit India, militant and revolutionary movements, peasant and workers movements, militant and revolutionary movements, peasant and workers movements. So, these are all the topics which we can see in our GS Modern India syllabus also, prelims and mains. I have completely integrated and studied a little more for political science, IGP. Along with that, I have also studied perspectives on Indian freedom struggle, Marxist perspective, radical humanist perspective, liberal perspective, socialist perspective, Dalit perspective, and I relied on one book, India's Struggle for Freedom, Bipin Chandra, which is a prescribed textbook or very important book for GS Modern India for prelims and mains. The same book I have studied for IGP perspectives and Modern India also. So I have integrated the complete chapter with GS and I have prepared. And then if you see the other chapter, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, I'll tell you the simple ways. The basic prelims, you all study Lakshmikant book, but for mains, 11th class NCERT political theory. Some of the prelims questions we are also getting from 11th class NCERT political theory, which is a mandatory book for political science optional syllabus. The basic reading for political science optional syllabus, 11th class NCERT political theory book. Okay, so remember this. And after reading 11th class NCERT political theory, you need to study Indian Constitution at Work, NCERT. Indian Constitution at Work, star mark book for prelims, GS prelims, mains, and IGP. Paper 1, section B of political science. IGP means Indian Government and Politics. So, making of the Indian Constitution from 1600 to 1947. What are the landmark things or landmark acts the Britishers have made and how our Constitution was built? So, particularly we should emphasize from 1773 Regulating Act, 1813, 1833, 1853, then 1858. You all know 1857 revolt. After that, what happened in 1858? 1862, 1891 or 1892, 1861, 1892, then 1909, 1919, 1935. These are the landmark events in the constitutional history of India, and that you can integrate with GS and study. Then fundamental, you all know, preamble, significance of preamble, very important question. Polity, very important question in prelims, very important question in political science. Fundamental rights chapter, DPSP chapter, fundamental duties chapter, parliamentary system, basic structure theory, amendments to the constitution, federal systems, center-state relations, statutory bodies, constitutional bodies like Finance Commission, CAG, Public Service Commission, Election Commission, Attorney General, statutory bodies like Human Rights Commission, Women's Commission, SC Commission, now SC Commission, ST Commission. They are all constitutional bodies again. So all these things are in our syllabus. All these topics are there in our syllabus in both political science and also in GS. And we should also study the very important topic, regular question in political science and also GS mains, panchayats and municipalities. So short. If you see the syllabus, all these topics are there in GS syllabus and also in political science syllabus. For that reason, I have taken political science to integrate and study my preparation, to complete my preparation very fast. Apart from that, we have Green Revolution, liberalization, Nehruvian and Gandhian perspectives of planning, land reforms, and electoral behavior, trends in electoral behavior, voting patterns, pressure groups, party system, coalition politics, caste, religion and ethnicity in Indian politics, the role of caste, religion and ethnicity in Indian politics. So this is the syllabus of IGP. Tell me one chapter in IGP which is not useful in GS. If you could open your syllabus book and see the syllabus of Indian government and politics, there are 11 chapters. Tell one chapter which is completely disconnected with general studies preparation. There is no single chapter in paper 1 section B of political science, that is IGP, which cannot be connected with GS. Now, some aspirant asked me a question. For that matter, many PSR aspirants ask the same question to me. What is the difference between answer writing in GS mains and PSR mains? The major thing is, what is the difference between answer writing in GS mains and PSR mains? I'll take one question which is common to GS and PSIR and I'll give a template now. Same question I'll take. In GS perspective, how to write an answer. In PSIR perspective, how to write an answer. Significance of preamble to the Indian Constitution or relevance of preamble of the Indian Constitution. This is a question. Significance of preamble to the Indian Constitution or relevance of preamble to the Indian Constitution. This is a question. Prelims perspective. Indian Constitution starts with a preamble. We the people of India concept. What is sovereignty? What is all these things? Then significance of the words justice, sovereignty, liberty. In Keshavananda Bharati case, it is said that preamble is a basic structure of, preamble is a part of Indian Constitution. Preamble can be amended subject to basic structure. This is the answer we write in prelims, in GS. Coming to PSIR, our preamble reflects popular sovereignty concept. People are the source of Indian Constitution. We the people of India. People are the source. Popular sovereignty. People are supreme. The popular sovereignty concept is given by Rousseau. The popular sovereignty concept is given by Rousseau. Okay, then sovereignty. When you are talking about sovereignty, India's membership in Commonwealth of Nations is in no way derogatory to the sovereignty principle. Whenever you are talking about secularism, in S.R. Bommai case it is said that secularism is a basic feature of Indian constitution. Okay, and you are talking about republic. Whenever you are talking about republic, you have to compare British constitution and Indian constitution. Britain is a hereditary monarchy. India is a republic. America is a republic. In the same way, whenever you are writing about justice, the ideal of justice is taken from Russian constitution. And even you should include constitutional articles also. Equality. You should immediately write about rule of law, A.V. Dicey concept. And you should also write about people are the supreme source of Indian constitution. Liberty, equality, fraternity are the foundational stones, and they are taken from the French system. And liberty, equality and fraternity are the doctrines given by Rousseau, the French political thinker. So you need to connect constitutional articles like Article 326, political justice. What is Article 326? Universal adult franchise. You should write about popular sovereignty. You should compare Indian constitution with other constitutions. You should also write about A.V. Dicey. You should write about the democracy, where the relationship between the government and the governed is based on trust. The democracy where the relationship between the government and governed is based on trust. John Locke. So this is how you need to present a political science answer, and that is how you need to present a GS answer. That is the difference. Okay, so a GS answer will be like a GS template. Political science answer will be more analytical. We have to add some thinkers, and we have to add some articles, and we have to add some viewpoints. This is how you need to differentiate. I hope now you understood how to write a polity answer from GS perspective, a polity answer from PSR perspective. For example, I'll take one more answer. Say, human rights movements in IGP, human rights movements, social movements in IGP and social movements in paper 2 party of PSR. Okay, yesterday you have seen, from last 1 week, there is a rioting, arson, looting that is going on in France. 17 years old boy, a French boy of Algerian descent, was shot by police just because he did not follow traffic rules. There was a large-scale discrimination, hyper-marginalization and racism against immigrants in France. The incident erupted wide-scale violence and protest, which was simmering from long time in the immigrants, particularly Arab, Islamic and Middle East immigrants in the France. So there was a large-scale movement that was emerged in the form of violence against discrimination, against marginalization of immigrants, particularly the blacks, the Arabs and the Islam people in France. This is a movement that was led by youth, mostly youth in France. So you need to connect the French episode with human rights movements. For example, in America, few years back, a black was killed by police, George Floyd. You need to connect the George Floyd incident with human rights issues. In India, we have identity politics. In India, we have discrimination based on caste, based on religion. So, in South Africa, we have apartheid. You need to write the relevant statements or the relevant examples while writing PSR answers. Even though, if you don't take even political science optional, for civil services preparation, you need to actually read the newspaper. You need to understand what is going on in the world. You need to appreciate and understand what is happening in the world. So those things you need to connect in PSR. There is one challenge or criticism that we face in PSR. Some say that PSR is very, very dynamic optional. How many of you know this? So I'll tell you a few examples. Khalistan movement. Recently, in San Francisco in America, Indian consulate was set to fire by pro-Khalistani activists. Do you know this? In Canada, there's high sympathy for Khalistan. UK, Australia, Canada, US. And if you say that understanding about Khalistan movement is a dynamic concept, then political science is also dynamic. If you say that comprehending your views on Khalistan movement, Khalistan 2.0 is dynamic, then political science is also, PSR is also dynamic. If you think that understanding the role of the governor in the recent past, the controversial role of governor in the recent past with respect to Tamil Nadu, where the governor without even a forethought sacked the minister and immediately retreated from his judgment or decision, then political science is also a dynamic thing. And if you observe, the Wagner Group protests, revolt in Russia, and how Wagner Group was called by Belarus President Alexander Lukashenko, and what is the episode of Wagner Group, who are Wagner. If you think that the topic is irrelevant for civil services, then political science, taking political science is also irrelevant. So political science, some portions of political science need regular updates, regular notes connected with current affairs. Even if you don't take political science, you need to connect. For example, few days back there is an article in Hindu, I think 5 days back. Should India accept NATO plus status? Should India accept NATO plus status? You all know there are 31 countries in NATO as of now. The latest country being Finland. Okay, even that's an important reason why Russia attacked Ukraine, because Ukraine wanted to join in NATO. So America is contemplating to give NATO plus status to India. Already 5 countries have that status: Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Israel, South Korea. Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Israel, South Korea, 5 countries have NATO plus. Should India accept NATO plus? Because NATO plus status helps India to get defense cooperation and support from America. At the same time, it has its own challenges. So these are all the things which we need to actually update in political science. For example, Indian Supreme Court judgments with respect to criminals in politics, identity politics, social movements, women movements, Dalit movements, the upcoming movements in India, a movement like Me Too movement, social media movement with respect to women and their harassment. So these things we need to update every day. Okay, so there are various issues. Recently, Indian Cabinet approved Data Protection Bill. Connecting data protection bill with GDPR of Europe, GDPR, General Data Protection Regulations of Europe. This you need to do as a PSR student. This will enhance your GS quality and enrichment. It is not that PSR is something which is alien from GS. In fact, paper 1 part A of, so till now we have discussed about IGP. I'll tell you, paper 1 part A or paper 1 section A. Western political thought, Indian political thought. We have Western political thought, Plato, Aristotle, Machiavelli, J.S. Mill, Hobbes, Locke, Karl Marx, Gramsci, Hannah Arendt. These are the thinkers we have. Indian political thought, Gandhi, Ambedkar, Syed Ahmad Khan, M.N. Roy, Arvindo Ghosh, Manu Kautilya, Buddhist tradition. And political ideologies, liberalism, socialism, Gandhiism, fascism, feminism. And we also, in socialism, there is Marxism, okay? And approaches to political science, theories like theories of state, perspectives on state, justice, rights, equality and freedom, democracy, all these chapters we have in PSR, paper 1 section A. See, paper 1 section A is a typical political science section. Paper 1 section A is a typical political science section. It is a section which takes more than 2 months for us, and rest all we can go with more understanding and comprehension. But paper 1 section A is a part where we need to have more analytical skills, more memory skills, and in fact, I have taken political science fearing paper 1 section A, but after taking political science, I loved paper 1 section A. Because understanding thinkers, Western political thinkers and Indian political thinkers, makes us to understand the world. It improves your comprehension skills, analytical skills, maturity levels, and also the quotes and the ideas which we read in Indian political thought and Western political thought. You can use it in ethics and essay writing also. Apart from that, you need to have good writing skills to write Western political thought and Indian political thought, no doubt about it. Mostly, you are nothing, we need not add much to our knowledge or class notes with respect to Western political thought, Indian political thought, and political theories. If you read, remember, understand the classes, it is enough. I can tell you, if you love political science, the Western political thought, I can take you to the new heights. In fact, it is in my blood. I love to teach Western political thought, Indian political thought, and political science paper 1 section A, because when I teach that, I feel it's my mother subject. You will, I think, if you have interest in political science, you also love Western political thought. Why? See, when you read it, when you try to understand it, you are not going to do it just for exam. You are going to learn a particular person, his ideology. For example, Plato. Plato was an utopian. He was an idealist. He lives in an imaginary world. He lives in an ideal world, dreamy world. He was a product of a great teacher called Socrates. Socrates was the teacher of Plato. And Plato spoke about a concept called philosopher king. This philosopher king have no property or family, should not possess anything. Rulers should not touch gold or silver. They should not have any permanent house. Rulers should not touch gold or silver. They should not touch any permanent residence or family. There is no wedding for them. They should live like an ascetic life. Imagine a ruler who is like an ascetic, who have no personal interest except the people's interest, except the public interest. Economic power and political power should never be intermixed. Economic power and political power. If you are in political power, you are not allowed it to amass wealth. You are not allowed it to use to amass wealth. If you have family, you will think about your children. You will become greedy. If rulers become husbandsmen and housekeepers, they start fighting with internal enemies rather than with external enemies. If rulers become husbandsmen and housekeepers, they start fighting with internal enemies rather than with external enemies. So Plato was an idealist. Plato had a student. His name is Aristotle. Aristotle was the father of political science. If you have a father, he has some weaknesses. You will try to be like an extended part of his father, your father, but you will try to avoid his weakness as you have studied him a lot. The same way, Aristotle had a teacher called Plato, and Aristotle understood he should be a realist. And unlike his teacher Plato, who was an idealist, Aristotle was a realist, a practical man. Aristotle spoke about revolutions, which is a highly practical topic. He belonged to 3rd century BC. But if you read Aristotle on revolutions, you will be feeling that, you will have that imagination that he is living with us, he is surrounding us, he is around us. 2800 years back, he wrote about revolutions. But whatever he wrote about revolutions, they hold good even today. After reading Plato and Aristotle, we will go to a thinker called Machiavelli. Machiavelli, the word or the name Machiavelli itself connotes negative politics. It gives double pleasure to deceive the deceiver. If a person deceives everyone, if you could deceive him, it gives you double pleasure. It gives double pleasure to deceive the deceiver. Machiavelli said, prince should be a fox and lion according to the situation. Should be like a fox to understand the traps. Should be like a lion to hunt the wolves. You should have courage like a lion, understand the cunningness like a fox. Whatever is useful to you is ethical to you. Machiavelli. So, there are no permanent friends or permanent enemies in politics. Machiavelli. Plato, Aristotle, Machiavelli. Then we'll read about J.S. Mill, who spoke about minority toleration. If all mankind minus one have one opinion, the single person have different opinion, there is no point in suppressing the single person. For example, if there are 99 people having one opinion and the single person have different opinion, you should not suppress even the single person. This is J.S. Mill, minority toleration. Then we'll read about Hobbes' law, who belonged to social contract tradition. Then Karl Marx, you all know Karl Marx, Communist Manifesto, Das Kapital, father of modern communism. Half of the world love him like a god, revere him like a god, and remaining half hate him like or suspect him like a devil. The communist world loves him. The capitalist world looks at him with suspicion. Then we'll read about Antonio Gramsci, then Hannah Arendt. So these are the Western political thinkers. In Indian political thought, we read about Gandhi, who said means are more important than the ends. Ambedkar, who said social reforms are more important than political reforms. Aurobindo Ghosh, who propounded spiritual nationalism. According to Aurobindo Ghosh, nation is not a piece of earth, figure of speech or fiction of mind. It is a goddess, Bhavani Mahishasura Mardani. It has a divine entity, divine existence. And M.N. Roy, radical humanism, which is a philosophy of freedom of modern scientific knowledge based on modern scientific knowledge. And Syed Ahmad Khan, a nationalist turned communalist and a modernizer, progressive man for Muslims. So we are going to read thinkers as if they are our friends. And I'm going to explain the basic keywords, ideologies with PDFs of Indian political thought and Western political thought. Then we'll go into political ideologies, which is very, very important topic in political science. Liberalism, socialism, fascism, feminism, Gandhism, all these ideologies we'll study. Then we'll go into approaches to political science. Normative and empirical. Empirical means practical. Behavioral, post-behavioral, systems analysis, structural, functional. Then we'll study into theories of state, theories of justice, theory of power, hegemony, legitimacy, rights, equality and freedom, democracy, all these chapters. So this is how we'll tread about in paper 1 section A. So now I think you got a good knowledge about syllabus about paper 1 section A and section B. And paper 2. Coming to paper 2, again it contains 2 sections. Paper 2 section A deals with comparative politics and international relations. Paper 2 section A deals with comparative politics and international relations. Paper 2 section B deals with India and the world. Paper 2 section A, comparative politics and international relations. Paper 2 section B, India and the world. So paper 2 section A, approaches to the IR, realist, idealist, functionalist, Marxist systems. Approaches to the international relations, realist approach, idealist approach. We'll study how realism works, how idealism works, all these things. Then we'll study concepts, balance of power, national interest, collective security, all these concepts. Then we'll study non-aligned movement and the relevance of non-aligned movement in contemporary world, which is very, very important. NAM, non-aligned movement, and relevance of NAM, which is also very, very important for GS also. We'll study UN systems, reforms in the UN, what is India's stand with respect to UN systems, need for UN reforms, International Court of Justice, Security Council reforms, all these topics. Then we'll study Bretton Woods institutions, IMF and World Bank. Then later we'll study WTO and other things. Then we'll study contemporary issues of global concern like environment, gender justice, democracy, human rights, etc. Then we'll study regionalization of world politics like SAARC, NAFTA, APEC, ASEAN, all these topics. Then we'll go into comparative politics. Approaches to the comparative politics, political sociology and political economy, limitations of comparative method, state in comparative perspective, globalization and world politics, politics of participation and representation. So, we'll complete paper 1, paper 2 section A. Then we'll go to paper 2 section B. Recently you have seen the SCO summit, virtual summit of SCO. How India hosted, first time India hosted the SCO summit after India becoming member in Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Recently, Iran have become a 9th member in SCO. Next year, Belarus might become a member in SCO. So, that is very important. India is hosting G20, very important. India's foreign policy, continuity and change. In paper 1 section B, we are going to study India's foreign policy, institutions of India's foreign policy making, India's foreign policy continuity and change. So how India started diplomatic relations with Israel, how India is maintaining its strategic autonomy in foreign policy. For example, on the one side, India is making close friendship with US, signing logistic agreements like BECA. On the other side, India is having S-4 and deal with Russia. And India is speaking about strategic autonomy. How India is trying to counter. On the one side, India is in Quad. On the other side, India is in SCO. On the other side, India is in I2U2. Got the point? Actually, SCO is like China-Russia led bloc. Quad is America led bloc. But still, India is a part of Quad. India is a part of SCO. And we'll also study growing influence of China in Middle East, in Latin America, in Africa, in Asia. And India's neighborhood, India-Bangladesh relations, India-Nepal, India-Bhutan, India-Pakistan, India-Sri Lanka, India-Maldives, how we are working on. And for example, last year there's a water sharing agreement between India and Bangladesh, Kushiara. The Teesta River water agreement have not yet finalized between India and Bangladesh. There is a dispute between India and Nepal. Nepal is claiming certain areas of India in Uttarakhand area, Kalapani, Lipulek, Limpiadura. Nepal is showing that that part belongs to Nepal. And how China and India relations are going up, all these things we are going to study. And India and big powers like India, US, India, Japan, India, Russia, India, Africa, India, Latin America, India, European Union. And India, how it is becoming Vishwaguru, how it is trying to lead third world countries on climate issues, WTO issues, and other issues. And how India is trying to now become an active involvement or active broker in various international episodes. What role India should play in Israel-Palestine issue, Russia-Ukraine issue. So what role India should take, what stand India should take on Rohingya issue, all these things we are going to study. And even if you don't take IR, you are going to study not so extensively, but a portion of all this syllabus in GS also. For prelims, mains and interview. A portion of all this syllabus, all these episodes in GS also. So basically, if you prepare on your own, it will take 7 or 8 months. If you take coaching, it will take 5 or 6 months, maximum 5 to 6 months. And PSR, okay. Wait, don't do finish. PSR, it's a very good optional. If you have interest, you can take. I told you at the outset itself, don't take the optional just because it is scoring. Don't take the optional just because somebody advised you. Don't take the optional just because some seniors told you. Some seniors told you all these things. So I expect all of you to take a rational decision. If you want to take political science, and if you want to take coaching for political science, you can come. Okay? Just because Balata ma'am have taken political science or Balata ma'am is teaching political science, you are not expected to take political science. If you love the subject, I can help you out. Okay? And first thing, you should have interest. Second thing, during mains, definitely I'll help you if you opt to take political science. Okay, coaching is different and mains is completely different. Coaching, there will be classes during mains, while you are writing mains. For PSR, you need to have a lot of assistance because some of the questions in both the section Bs will be dynamic and you need to brush it up during your mains. If you are ready with static syllabus, you can ready with dynamic syllabus also in 15-20 days after passing the prelims. Now, I'll read out the doubts about optional and I'll try to clarify. Can you read it out? Or they grab it. See, there are various doubts. Yes. Political science, is it a static or dynamic? Both. Both the section A's are almost static. Both the section B's, you need to improve by reading newspaper. And some international or national others, and particularly UPSC teachers teach a lot of things about dynamic part. I don't suggest. Reading 2 national newspapers is enough. For dynamic paper also, whatever material you get through newspaper, it is enough. Even if you don't take PSR, you are going to read Hindu or Indian Express. That is enough if you do it little better for political science. Okay, next question. CS. What is the difference between GS answer writing and PSR answer writing? I have explained you already. In GS answer writing, you should follow one format. In PSR, you should add thinkers, constitutional articles, little more analytical answers are required in PSR. The subject is same, the content is same, but analysis should be improved. Yes, for political science, we will have mock tests also. And during our course, we will have mock tests after every chapter. And during mains, you have complete tight packed test series schedule. Both the things are available in CSB. So, ma'am, I like maths, or should I take PSR or anthropology and all these things? Yes. Don't ask me a question. Maths is good or PSR is good. Anthropology or public administration or PSR is good. I'm not a right person to answer. I'll tell you one thing. For every teacher who teaches a particular subject, unless the teacher have passion on the subject, he or she cannot teach in the classroom. Am I right? Daily getting it up 5:30 or 6 o'clock, coming to class at 7 o'clock. From the last 15, 16 years, it's not an easy job. No amount of material things will give you such passion to come to the class every day and teach the class with 100% focus. If you sit in the class, your focus might be missed sometimes. But if I teach in the class, I need to have full focus, right? So I do it with passion, the PSR. But I don't expect the same from you if you don't like PSR. If you ask me, the diversity, the positives and challenges of PSR, I can tell you. I'll tell you positives. You can integrate with GS and study. Definitely your GS skills, answer writing, handwriting skills will improve with PSR. And PSR will make you a better person in future also. Challenge is, yes, it takes little more time to complete the syllabus and you need to depend more on newspapers and extra sources while writing the main answers, not just a classroom notebook. And I cannot comment on other options because I am not that good in other options. The other options might be equally good. Option is a choice. If you like red color or yellow color or green color, if you like apple or orange or mango, it's up to your choice. Okay. నా కళ్ళకు ఒక కలర్ బాగుంటుంది. For my eyes, one color looks good. Right? అంతే. So don't try to take decisions based on others' opinion. Somebody is asking online, Madam, anthropology is good, maths is good, IR is good. I cannot tell you. Okay, not only me, don't take a decision based on some other's opinion or some other's judgment. Take your own judgment. If you want political science, come to me, I'll help you out. Okay? Any other doubt you have?
How should I begin at
I told you already. NCERT, political theory, NCERT, Indian Constitution Network, OP Goba, Introduction to Political Theory. These are the 3 basic books a beginner should start with, along with reading 2 national newspapers, all the important articles like IR articles. For example, India-Sri Lanka relations appeared in the newspaper, you have to read. India-Nepal, you have to read. India-Egypt, Modi made a state visit to Egypt, you have to read. You have to make a note, just not reading and leaving it then and there. You have to make a proper note out of it. Okay? And paper 1 section B, DL Fadia, Indian Government and Politics book, DD Basu, Subhash Kashyap, Bipin Chandra, Modern India. Paper 2 section A, JC Johari, Vinay Kumar Malhotra, IGNO MA Political Science IR materials, paper 2 section A, that is comparative politics and IR, and paper 2 section B, any 2 static textbooks and mostly MEA website, Ministry of External Affairs website, Hindu, Indian Express, Times of India articles, Live Mint, the Wire articles, along with that your own prepared notes, and if at all you attend the classes, for everything our class notes. Okay, these are the things I can suggest you. And every day 4 hours of preparation for 6 months will make you very good at political science. If you prepare well, you can go up to 290, 300. I got 329 out of 500 in 2017 results. I am the country topper in political science, but I don't say that becoming country top is great. It depends on various factors. Any other query about political science? PSR. How to get highest score? Simple. Keywords. Answer to the question, to the point, use perfect keywords. That's it. Good examples in both the dynamic part, good data, good case studies, Supreme Court judgments, good constitution articles, And paper 1 section A's keywords, exactly you have to imprint. Print section A. నేను అంతే చేశాను. I have actually wrote very good answers for paper 1 section A. What all flow I'll get in the class, what all I teach in the class, I just printed there in the exam paper. That is the positivity I got. Any other query?
We need to remember every constitutional article with respect to syllabus.
Not every constitutional article, important articles. For example, you are writing about Supreme Court judicial activism. You are writing about separation of judiciary from executive. You have to mention Article 50. Article 50. And you are writing about, say, parliamentary system. You have to write Article 75, 78, all these articles. Any other question?
How to make notes on current affairs for PSI?
See, daily I am making a video. Yesterday night I make a video on France. Have you seen that? Have you gone through that video? So see that and Google the same topic and make a notes. Every day what all important for IR, almost Polity and IR are making so many videos. If you go through all my past previous 1 year videos, 50% of your IR preparation and polity preparation will be completed. After seeing the video, watching the video, kindly Google the same topic and do that. Any other thing?
Madam, I have read the political science in graduation for the same level. How to the same syllabus for UPSC? Political science we have same syllabus in graduation.
Yes, political science studying in graduation and post-graduation. Political science for civil services is completely different. Okay. Generally, 90% of the students who pass political science are from BTech background or are from non-political science background. You need not have political science background to crack UPSC political science examination in mains. Preparing and writing answers for UPSC is different from preparing answers in academics. Okay? So, in our classroom I teach in the perspective of UPSC. I'm not an academician or PhD holder or MA holder in political science. But I can tell you, I know that knack how to crack UPSC exam with political science. I'm not an academician. And many try to compare my notes with some other notes in political science. Giving 10 bundles of notes or 20 bundles of notes is of no use. I try to make the class very simple and crisp to crack the exam with 280, 270, 290 marks. I will never bombard students with lot of notes. Anyhow, I know, even if I give 10 bundles, 20 bundles of notes, you are not going to read everything, remember everything. But still, my students sometimes ask me, for that reason, from this year onwards, I am also providing so much of notes. Not because I like to provide, I dislike to provide so much of notes because it is useless, I know. But students compare with some other teacher. Ma'am, that ma'am is giving so much of notes. You are giving very crispy notes. So, now I'll give so much of lengthy notes. But no use. Okay? Thank you. I'm concluding this session. We'll meet again whenever we get a time. Thank you.